Hello, 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 guys. Bear with me. I'm not the most technical guy, but I hope I can share some things today that will pour into you, that's poured into my life. It's helped change my life. But a wonderful book, Wayne Cadera, The Divine Mentor. Phenomenal book. Just absolutely loving. And I actually got this title from that. And he said there's two great pains in life. One's discipline and one's regret. And so I got this also from Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee basically said this, what I've learned in Christianity, the cross, right? The cross is a crucifix, it's a crossroad. God has to pour you out like this to be able to pour into you. And so Bruce would hold up a glass and he would say, this is my knowledge of martial arts, and this is yours. And there was water in this. I'm going to use a picture to explain this, but he said, in order for me to be able to give you what I have, you have to pour yours out to make room for my knowledge. And so the metaphor is this, guys. You see, in life, you can either just not pay up front and you'll get regret the rest of your life. Or you can use a beautiful principle my father taught me called discipline to create your life. You see, God gave us the ability to choose, but God can only do for us what he can do through us. And so this right here represents all the knowledge, right? This is our lack of awareness. See, all that we actually really have in life is we have a lack of awareness, lack of perfect knowledge. That's God. God has perfect knowledge. And what they said in the Bible, they said this, they said, be not of this world, but by the renewal of your mind. And I thought, well, how do I do that? I'm going to tie this together, I promise, before I leave here today. But this right here represents God's knowledge, God's love for us. This is us. We're not on our way. We're not exceeding what we want. And as we start to pour into, this is maybe reading a book. And then all of a sudden you quit reading the book. So you quit changing. It's still staying diluted. Maybe you're watching the news. Boom. And when you're watching news, it's all negative. And so you may as well pour more Coke inside that little glass, right? But let's say you stay on the path and you read every morning and you daily journal and you thank God, you're giving gratitude, and then you stop. Well, that growth stops. And then you keep pouring in, maybe you go to a seminar, maybe you go to some different things, you're watching stuff like I'm doing here. And as you can see, it's starting to get lighter. You're starting to see a little bit better, starting to see a little bit clearer. And the way the mind works, once you get clear, if you keep pouring in, it takes time. And people won't stay the course. They won't discipline themselves, as Wayne was speaking about. And that's why God said in Proverbs, when you find a man diligent in his works, he'll stand before kings, because so few people will do the work. And as you keep pouring in, before you know it, your cup is overflowing. The goodness, the beauty in your life is so crystal clear and so pure that you're able to pour into others. And so why am I sharing this with you? When I first heard this, I had to get order in my mind. And I want to help you understand that. Let me give you an example. I always ask my clients this. I'll say, look, people all want to change their mind, but we don't have a picture for that. And as King Solomon said, where there's no vision, the people perish. But there's a flip to this, because if people do have a vision, they don't perish. Let me explain what I mean by this. Do me a favor. I want you to think about what color your front door is. And an image pops in your mind. I want you to think now about what your car looks like, what the color is on the outside. Now I want you to picture what the inside of the car color is. How many doors does it have? What's your refrigerator look like? What color is it? How many doors does it have? Do they open left to right, right to left? See, what I'm doing is I'm making you go into your mind to see the picture. And if you don't have a picture for what I'm asking, you hesitate. That's when you're cloudy and you cannot see like the cup of Coke. So what we tend to do is when I ask people what they see the mind as, they typically see the mind as the brain. The brain is not the mind. You don't think with your brain, but you store cells of what we call recognition in the brain. See, what I'm sharing with you today is I'm sharing a different concept. I'm helping you create images in your mind. And you continue to water it. And as you continue to water it, you'll start to have it. And so here's how this works. Let's get a picture to your mind. This right here, this big circle, is going to represent the mind. When I look at a human being, I see this right here as the mind. And what happens is up here, you have a consciousness. And down here, you have a subconsciousness. This is where school pours in books and information. This is where when you go and we do all these sales trainings or whatever in corporations, they put all the information in here, but they never condition it, as Aristotle said. And so what happens, you build up the book knowledge. This is your visual or thinking mind. And down below is your emotional mind. This is where you act from. And then here, this little guy down below, that's the physical body. That's from here down. Now, that's not how it works, but I want to give you a point to look at today. And so what most people do, they look at results in their life. I call this the report card syndrome. What tends to happen, they'll get a report card and that's how they think, who they are. That's what their parents think, that's what the teacher thinks. So it creates an image. And if it's not good grades, they feel depressed, anxious, stressed. And eventually they start to get dyshypneitis, the body not at ease. So what happens, they're putting an image they do not want. This is how 96% of the world functions. That's how I used to too as well. What the 1%ers do is they put the image here that they want. And just like I showed you, they pour in every day into that image. They add emotion. And biblically, in Mark 11:24, when he says whatsoever means physically, mentally, spiritually, relationally, socially, financially, whatsoever ye ask, this is where you ask. Believe and ye shall receive. For God can only do for us what he can do through us. So when you put the picture of what you desire here and fixed purpose and unwavering faith, and you pour in every day over time, as Napoleon Hill said, when it comes, riches come, and they'll come so fast, you're going to wonder where they hide through the lean years. Wallace Wattles, in The Science of Getting Rich, said this. He said, to think what you want to think what you want to think is to think truth, regardless of the appearance. You see, Henry Ford said this. He said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses, because all people could visualize were horses. They couldn't see the automobile on large scale, but Henry Ford did. And because Henry Ford saw it, and because he embedded it, he had it. This is your farmland. This is your garden. You can have these. How you look at things is how you attach meaning to them. So if you stop saying problem and start saying the solution, or the situation, and then the flip side of that is the solution. It's all how you mirror things. And so you can plant weeds or you can plant flowers, and it's your thoughts that are the seeds. So I hope you find some value in this. If you'd like to find more, please check us out. This is just a taste, but if you're looking to upgrade your mindset, to change the picture of what you hold, because that's what drove me was my little girl. You see, my little girl's not going to do what I tell her. She's going to do what I do. And if I don't change this, I don't change me. And as I become a better version of me, I become a better servant to God. Hope to God, and every day in every way, you get better and better. Go make it a great day.